There are just 5 days to go to Eurovision, the final of the most watched non-sporting contest in the world. A song competition that attracts 120 million viewers worldwide.
Only love can set you free.
Engelbert Humperdinck is representing the UK. But this year, it's in a country which is no ordinary host nation. We're undercover in the former Soviet Republic of Azerbaijan. We're being followed again, and 2 government agents were waiting for us in the hotel foyer this morning. Home to a ruling dynasty accused of exploiting the contest.
The president of Azerbaijan, the government of Azerbaijan, is building its propaganda on Eurovision.
A country where a Eurovision vote attracts attention from state security.
They ask why I voted for Armenia. They took a statement from me and applied some pressure.
Where just making fun of the regime might land you in jail.
At the end, we were sentenced to 2 and 2.5 years in prison.
In fact, if you were marking Azerbaijan's human rights record, you might award
0 points.
We arrive on a chilly April evening. Azerbaijan doesn't welcome investigative journalists, so we're here as tourists, unsure what'll happen if we're caught. The interviews will be done discreetly, indoors. Any outdoor filming will be done on a tourist camera. This is the song which won them last year's competition, and with it the right to host this year's. Running scared. Some people in Azerbaijan have been doing just that for years. A hilltop high above the capital, Baku. The flame is for the country's war dead. It's also a symbol of the vast gas and oil reserves which led the ancients to call this place the Land of Fire. Azerbaijan produces almost 1 million barrels of oil every day. The revenues have helped make the ruling family, Ilham Aliyev, his wife and 3 children, fabulously rich, along with their inner circle. Just across there is downtown Baku, which looks out over the Caspian Sea. And if you come a bit further this way, you can find the development which Azerbaijan has spent so much money on to impress the world. First of all, there's that enormous flagpole which is 40 stories high. And just to the left of that is Baku Crystal Hall, built specifically for the Eurovision Song Contest. It's going to seat more than 20,000 people. Most in the UK view the song contest with a large dose of irony. Its high kitsch charm stretches back 5 decades.
Power to all our friends. I was defeated, you won the war. But if you want to see some more, like a puppet on a string.
Eurovision organisers are determined politics and pop don't mix, but some artists are happy for the spotlight to fall a little wider.
The Eurovision is fantastic. I think the artist's job is to just draw attention to something and allow people to sort it out for themselves. You know, it's not our job to do that. There are people like politicians and journalists and people like yourself in the media. That's your job.
Well, there we have it.
Of the Eurovision Song Contest 2011 is Azerbaijan.
But it wasn't just last year's winning act who were breathless with excitement. The regime must have been too, because in Azerbaijan, the competition is up there with hosting the Football World Cup or the Olympics. Criticised by some as repressive, this is a chance for Azerbaijan to sing a song of respectability.
First family of Azerbaijan is building its propaganda. The president of Azerbaijan, the government of Azerbaijan is building its propaganda on Eurovision. It's not fair. I mean, it's not fair. That's it.
Though the regime denies it, Azerbaijan has previously taken advantage of the contest for political ends.
How can I stay when you are away?
In 2009, this was the entry of their longtime enemy, Armenia. Azerbaijan fought a bloody border conflict with Armenia, one that's still smouldering. So whilst we in the UK watched the Armenian entry, in Azerbaijan, someone pulled the plug. Watching that night was pro-democracy supporter Rovshan Nazirli.
I took out my phone. I thought about who I should vote for. When the act from Armenia performed, Azeri TV stopped the broadcast.
Now it's time to vote.
As a protest, I voted for Armenia.
What Rovshan did might not sound like a major political statement, but in Azerbaijan, voting for the enemy, even in a song competition, is a risk. Do you have any sympathy or support for Armenia? Is that why you voted for them?
I didn't even hear that song. I have no sympathies. It was just a protest.
The lines are now closed. Please don't call. Your vote won't count.
Or if you're in Azerbaijan, you might end up in the Ministry of National Security.
I didn't want to go at first. They told me your mobile number is a part of a criminal investigation.
Some other viewers who voted for Armenia were also questioned.
They asked why I voted for Armenia. They took a statement from me and applied some pressure.
And were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. We just had an argument. They threatened they were going to hold me there, that they will show me on TV.
This year, the Armenians have pulled out, afraid for the safety of their contestants. The people who run Eurovision are based here in Geneva. The European Broadcasting Union sets the rules. Key is that the contest remains apolitical. In 2009, there were a number of people who voted for Armenia who ended up being taken in for questioning.
Yes, yeah, it's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
But that shows us, doesn't it, that the Azeri government, the regime there, has politicised this song contest already.
And that's what we try to prevent, of course. But yes, it is. They try, actually. But and that's why we have strict rules and we try to prevent it.
Driving through the capital, Baku, a big brother figure gazes down. It's the face of a former hardline ruler from the Soviet era, Heydar Aliyev, who became president of Azerbaijan after a coup. Before he died, he handed power to his son, Ilham Aliyev, the current president. This is his wife, the glamorous Mehriban, and their two style-conscious daughters, Layla, who lives in London, and Arzu. There's a son too, 15-year-old Heydar Jr., who's already acquired vast wealth at a tender age. More of the first family later. We went to meet activist and journalist Emin Husyanov from the Institute for Reporters' Freedom and Safety. And these are the offices, yeah? Yeah. The staff here take it in turns to stay in the office overnight, so the secret police can't break in and plant bugs.
The government tried to control us and keep us under surveillance. They use different means to provoke us. They can arrest journalists on trumped-up charges. They kill them, and they wouldn't try to find and punish the killers.
Emin was himself beaten whilst attending these protests during the 2003 presidential election, the one which saw Aliyev come to power. Then again, in an unprovoked attack in 2008, when he was arrested.
My imprisonment was ordered from above. These days, they don't beat me, but other journalists, because I'm more experienced now and well known.
Another journalist, Elmar Husyanov, was renowned for his hard-hitting criticism of the regime. He was convicted of insulting the nation, forced to close his press agency, harassed, intimidated, jailed. Then in 2005, he arrived home to find someone waiting for him. He was shot 7 times, and the murder remains unsolved. Many other government critics are in jail. Human rights groups say the regime has around 70 political prisoners. This is how the US Embassy described President Aliyev in a leaked cable in 2009.
Aliyev takes the actions he does in order to eliminate even the semblance of risk to his political prominence. His goal appears to be a political environment in which the Aliyev dynasty is unchallenged.
We're off to a rare event on the outskirts of Baku, an opposition rally sanctioned by the regime. It was going to be difficult to pose as tourists here. The secret police were not so secret. Our fixer had already started pointing them out. See, there's a guy. Can you see the guy on the ledge coming up on the left who's filming? And there's various other guys in kind of dark sunglasses and suits. But those who attend know they may be identified, though what'll happen to the information is unclear. This is more about intimidation. They have to get permission to hold a demonstration like this, and this is only the second time since 2006 they've been allowed to do it. And it's no great mystery why, of course. It's because world attention is now on Azerbaijan because of the Eurovision Song Contest. We wanted to speak to some of those attending, but our translator said that would single them out and they could risk arrest. Instead, an opposition leader, Ali Karimli, arranged to meet with us the following day. And we left, not wanting to push our luck. But it seemed we were too late.
So the undercover agent in the Fiat car is following us. Okay.
So what should we do? Should we go to a hotel that's not ours or something like that?
To some other hotel and hang on there until they're gone.
Eventually, we lost them. The next morning, we arrived at the apartment of the opposition leader.
Many of my relatives are under arrest. The rest were sacked from their jobs. My passport was taken away from me 7 years ago. Our party office has been seized from us. Sometimes the government stages rallies right in front of my house. They demand that I leave the country. We are under constant pressure and control.
Despite all that, he stood for Parliament twice. After the 2005 election, European monitors reported intimidation, ballot box stuffing and counting violations. This is how the regime dealt with the peaceful protest that followed. When you leave the house, are you followed?
Every time they accompany me, it is like they're sending me a message. We are always with you. We share your life. We receive all your messages. I have been living like this for a long time.
And today, we seem to have brought our own tale right to his door. We've only been here for 2 days and we know we're being followed now. There were 3 men in the hotel reception this morning who jumped in a car behind us, followed us all the way here, and we've just come down having finished an interview. The same 3 men are standing outside. Moments later, they jumped in a car and followed us again. On the surface, Baku appears like any prosperous European city. The familiar brands, eye-catching architecture, status symbol cars. But beneath the surface, the power of the ruling family is never far away. The president's wife, Mehriban, is an MP, elected to parliament with an implausible 94% of the vote.